Hi, guys, and welcome to the first episode of Football Crazy Podcast with me, Adam, and my co-host for every week, Lucas.
Hello.
So this week we're going to start off by talking about the Euros and basically preview the final. So, firstly, Lucas, what has been your thoughts on the tournament?
I think it's been a great tournament. After the World Cup, it was really expecting much as a tournament anyway. It was such a boring tournament, and it was just terrible, mainly because of the Jabulani, as stupid as it sounds, blaming a bad tournament on a football. And this one's just been absolutely full of goals. It's been very good to watch. There's been one, maybe two boring games. Definitely the Spain France game was quite tedious, but other than that, it's been a very good tournament, and I've thoroughly enjoyed watching it.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. I think the tournament has been, it's been the best tournament I can remember personally definitely since World Cup 2006, but I also go as far back as say World Cup 2002. I think this tournament's been absolutely brilliant. I mean, the football's been good. There's been the smaller teams doing okay and definitely causing challenges for the bigger teams, which has been nice. And just the amount of goals has been brilliant. I mean, if you've got a tournament with goals, you're on a good start already. So, yeah, I'm really happy with the tournament.
Yeah, the only one problem with the goals for me is a bookmaker ran a competition to guess how many goals there was in a tournament. I laid 42. I think it's fair to say there's been a lot more than 42 goals in this competition.
I mean, I know someone who had like under 40 goals in the group stages, and that just went by. So, yeah. But I think who's been your player of the tournament so far?
For me, definitely probably has to be Pirlo. I'm not saying that on his sole performance against England. He was amazing against England, is undoubtable, and he showed he still has it. But it was just in every other game as well. He's been absolute class. The only other actually no, tell a lie. The only game he wasn't absolute class in was Croatia, and that's because Mandzukic was on him 24/7. And so I don't know if that's Mandzukic making the decision to sit on Pirlo or is Slavan Bilic telling Mandzukic to do it, but it was executed really well. I've always rated Slavan Bilic as a manager, so I would like to think it was him, but obviously I can't tell for sure.
Well, if England would have done that, I think we
Who?
might have been able to beat them in normal time and not have to have done the
Yeah,
penalties and lost.
potentially, yeah, and not had to do the Chelsea way of playing on football, maybe. Because if we sat on Pirlo, we'd had more of a license to attack because well, he wouldn't have been pulling the strings. Who would you say should be your player of the tournament?
They're out of the tournament now, but I would have said Jair Montino. I think he's been absolutely brilliant for Portugal. His passing range has been spot on. He's basically been Portugal's Pirlo, and he's been able to give Ronaldo the chance to have a good tournament. Because the problem has always been for Ronaldo Portugal, he's had no one who had the ability to make him play well with them, and I think Jair has definitely
I
made.
don't know, Deco.
Never really worked, did it? Apart from maybe Euro 2004, but Ronaldo wasn't the player he is now.
True.
I just think if I'm honest with Deco, I think Ronaldo came in 3 years too late for Deco.
Yeah,
Um,
I see what you're saying.
but I think for me it's Yao. I mean, next week on our episode we'll do our teams of the tournament, but for me it's been Yao definitely.
Fair enough.
What do you think's
Um,
gonna happen in the final?
it's so hard to call because your mind tells you Spain. Look at their squad. Look at the quality they got. Look at the football they play. But
Yeah,
then you would have said, well, I said to be honest, Germany to go out and breeze past Italy. Well, no, not so much breeze, but definitely get through them. And yet Italy managed to pull it off. They've definitely. I want to use the term surprise package, but they do have still a good squad. Not a brilliant, but it is a good squad. But they have been punching well above their weight as to where they were expected to finish in the tournament, and
yeah.
so it is hard to call for the final. If I had to put a finger on it, I would back against Italy and have to probably go with Spain, just because my mind tells me to go with Spain. And I do want Spain to win, to be honest, because I just don't like the Italians for some unknown reason.
The way that it's gone for me is that the way it is with football is that just always go with what just don't go with what seems logical normally with football. Just because logical stuff generally doesn't come right in football. I mean, apart from possibly
Tell me
World Cup,
about it. I've been betting long enough to know that.
it's just well, it's annoying, but it's somewhat great about football. So, but I'm gonna definitely go with Italy. I think Italy will win by a goal. I just got a feeling Italy. Don't know why.
Regardless, I reckon we're in for a good game. To be honest,
Yeah, it'll be a great game.
it might be a bit slow because Italy might sit back and defend Spain's onslaught potential. But it's going to be interesting to see how Spain cope with Pirlo or don't cope with Pirlo.
It's gonna be Pirlo versus Iniesta this game.
Yeah, Iniesta's another one of those players who had a great tournament.
Yeah.
I'd just like us to move on away from the Euro front and move into what is more of our lives, which is league football. And obviously, nothing's been happening matches-wise because it is pre-season. And I'd like to mention the transfer front and a few standout transfers for me. This is in England, to be fair. Well, and players moving out of England.
Yeah.
Is Chelsea bringing in Hazard. I think that's a fantastic signing.
Yeah, I completely agree.
He's got potential to be amazing winger. Man United signing Kagawa. I think that's going to be fantastic.
Yep.
Chelsea signing Marine. I think that's also not as good as Kagawa and Hazard signings, but I do reckon that's a good signing nonetheless. And one thing I would like to point out is Podolski and Giroud signings for Arsenal. I think that's interesting. It maybe hints that the RVP might be leaving. What do you think?
I definitely think obviously it hints at it. I mean, especially when you keep hearing rumours that PSG are in for him, and we all know the money they've got at the moment. And Manchester City want him, and if Man City really want a player, they'll go and get them. At the end of the day, I think the only two players in the world they currently couldn't get is Messi and Ronaldo, and that's 'cause I can't see them leaving the two clubs they're at. But apart from that, I think every other player is fair game for them. If they really wanted them, they get them. And I could definitely say I don't know why they get RVP currently, because at the end of the day, if they're not going to sell Tevez, Aguero, and Balotelli, there's not much point in getting him. But I don't think that really comes. I don't think that comes into anything that Man City care about, to be honest. But I think he'll end up going to Man City. But I do think Podolski and Giroud are good signings. I just hope Giroud for them doesn't turn out like Shamak.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I do think Giroud might turn out like Shamak just because Giroud is quite a target man type of player, and Arsenal aren't the type of team to use a target man like that. Then again, having said that, with Oxlade-Chamberlain coming into the squad this year, I suspect, and Walcott, if they both get played on the wings, then I suspect he might get a decent enough service, but it's remained to be seen, I guess. I think Podolski will do well. I think he'll do very well, but Giroud maybe not so much. We'll have to wait and see. Two other transfers I want to bring up. These are quite interesting from the England point of view in a few years. Is the £6 million move of Jay Rodriguez to Southampton? Is that too much? And Nick Powell moving to Manchester United. Now that is definitely an interesting signing, and one that's well, they already were anyway with their amazing youth system, but put Crewe on the recent footballing map, because not very many Premier League fans would have knew about their youth system and what they generate unless you've been watching football for quite a while.
I mean, Jay Rodriguez.
I reckon.
Go on.
No, you go on.
Okay, I think Jay Rodriguez, I think he paid too much. I mean, I think he's a good player, and I think he could be a very good player for Southampton, particularly finally having a striker that maybe can have that connection with Lambert that they've really needed. But just to make themselves, that team has got the two strikers. They've always been Lambert, and then normally someone else comes in and gets a few goals, but not as many anywhere near the same kind of standard as Lambert. But I do think that they've paid too much. I don't think he's that kind of level quality yet. I would have said 4 million maybe. I think that'd be a fair enough price. I think they've paid 2 million over the odds. And in terms of Nick Powell,
he has the potential. He has the potential to be a lot better than 6 million. He could be like a 10, 50 million pound player in a few years. Who knows? But yeah,
or 40 million if you're Liverpool.
No offense to Liverpool fans.
I think that Powell, But I've proper bigged him up, and we've seen him this season. So I'm going to say that he will be a future. I think that he'll be a future England star, definitely. And I think it's a great signing for United. Definitely, it's a great signing for United. Um,
Um,
I want to
go
talk
on.
about Mido going to Barnsley. Um,
That is
what
definitely the weirdest signing so far.
what's your thoughts on this?
Um, as I've just said, weirdest signing in the transfer market. Because he has quite a stature in terms of his player. He's not amazing. He's one of the type of players he could absolutely take off at Barnsley, or he could absolutely throw a paddy and cause a bit of a mutiny. And that's what shocked me that he went to Barnsley. Is the reason why he left Zamalek is because of apparently a dispute in wages. And I'm so sorry to Barnsley fans. Even the most ardent Barnsley fan could say that they're not a team that can offer fantastic wages. So it shocks me as to why Mido's gone there, because I don't know for sure, but I could bet that Zamalek probably do offer better wages than what Barnsley do. But then again, the Championship's a more attractive league than the Egyptian Premier League, so there you go. What
Yeah.
do you think?
Um, Definitely, I agree. It's the weirdest sign I've seen so far this window. But I definitely think that I've been thinking about this for a couple of days. I actually think it's going to work. I don't know why, but I could just see it working. I remember what Mida could do in the Premier League, and when he wanted to, he was absolutely brilliant. So,
Yeah.
I mean, the problem is that if he does hit off massively at Barnsley, he won't be there long, unfortunately. I'm sorry, Barnsley fans, but we all know what's like. It's like that for us. If we get a good player at Bristol Rovers, we can't keep them ever because we're just not a big enough club. So
Yeah.
if you, unfortunately, like Vazte this season, if he starts doing well and say come January, you get offered like I don't know £1 million, I can most likely see you losing him. But yeah, I think he'll do well, and I think it'll help Barnsley stave off relegation for another season. Nice mid-table finish, hopefully, for them. And
One thing that might work in their favour if he does start scoring in for fun is that the fact his age might potentially put off buyers, being
yeah,
29.
I mean,
So
Vazte was the
that's
early
one thing.
20s still, so
Yeah, exactly. He's still quite a young player, and he's got potentially a very good future ahead of him. So,
yeah.
um,
Uh,
yeah.
what I think we should also just give a little shout out to what's been, I suppose, your say League One and Two. What's been your biggest signing in these leagues?
Um, oh, you've shot that one at me. Um, it. I think it's a toss up for me between. Um, actually, no, it's not a toss up. It's probably John Parkin for Fleetwood. I don't think he is the best player in the world, nor amazing League Two player. But it's just the fact that how Fleetwood's managed to do it. Okay, Fleetwood do have a lot of money, but they don't have an amazing club stature. And down in League Two, unless you got copious amount of monies like what Notts County did, you still can't attract amazing players to your club. So I don't know how they've managed to pull that one off. And he does have potential to be a very good target man in this league.
Yeah.
He wasn't horrendous last year for Preston. He wasn't great, but he wasn't amazing either. But yeah, I think he could do very well for Fleetwood and help Danny Nardiello, which again is also a fantastic signing.
Yeah. I think personally, I'm gonna go and say Swindon getting Guy Roberts on a free. I think that's an amazing signing for a free transfer. Gary Roberts for a club that just came up. Okay, granted, Canu's got a lot of ambition there at Swindon, but I personally think that's an amazing signing on a free. I think him and Matt
Yeah.
Ritchie, if they keep Matt Ritchie, it's going to be some dangerous attacking for Swindon next season.
Yeah, good luck fullbacks.
But let's move on to our last segment of the episode, which is Bet of the Week. So I'll let you check out your bet first. What's your bet for the week?
Seeing as there ain't much football to bet on unless you fancy betting on Finnish women football, I'm going to have to put something on for the final, and I'll put a score bet out there just because there isn't much you can go with, and I'll go 1-0 Spain, I reckon. And if I had to put a goal scorer out there, I would say gonna go outside the box and go with Xavi, although he doesn't pop up with a goal every now and then. I thought just maybe. Not massively confident in it. It's just a bit of a guess, but yeah, I'll just go with that. And what's yours? What's your bet?
I'm going to say I think Balotelli and Italy to win. I got a feeling Balotelli wants that. I think Balotelli's going to go all out for this because he wants that top goal scorer. He wants that golden boot. It'd be the first major single honour he's had as a player, and it's a big match for him. It's his biggest match of his career so far, personally, for him.
He's had the FA Cup, to be fair. Granted, it's no World Cup, Euro Championships.
It's a single, like what Messi has with a Ballon d'Or. I mean, someone that's singly his.
Right, yeah.
So I generally believe that it's going to be a Balotelli goal and Italy, sorry, almost said Ipswich, to win.